Previously on part 1, we see Touya and the gang burn down the pervert slime castle and rejects the offer to become a nobility from the king, but receive a huge castle instead. The story continue with the king sends some workers to help out with the house. They are led by the brother of Lame, how original the steward alongside Lapis, another woman Cecile and 2 men for security. Later on the Duke visits Touya in his house again. Even he jokes about giving his daughter to Touya, but Touya brushes it off. He doesn't know how serious the man is. The Duke however wasn't there for this reason. He tells Touya that since the kingdoms were going to form an alliance, the kings would soon have to meet. This required them to travel, which brought about further risks, so he wants Touya to go to Miss Mide. Once he had been there he could help the kings meet anytime they wanted with the help of his gate spell. Touya gladly accepts the mission and heads to Miss Mide with his friends, the royal emissaries and Olga the ambassador. After crossing the border into Miss Mide, Touya can't help but notice that they are being followed by someone, but they decide not to go too much into it. They make their way to the capital and plan to travel through ELD village to get there. On their way, they suddenly notice a black dragon heading straight for the village. Their carriages are too slow and by the time they reach the village, the dragon had already managed to destroy most of it. Touya and his group lure the dragon away and engage it in battle. Linza slices its wings and Ye slices one of its eyes. Its skin is too hard and TPA's weapon breaks, but the dragon is attacked by someone from the shadow before it can regain its strength. Linza then makes a huge ice block which Touya models into a lens and uses his light magic to pierce the dragon's skin right through, killing it. Soon another dragon appears who claims to be their king. He apologizes to Touya for his fellow dragon's arrogance and leaves. The next day, the group finally reaches the Miss Mide capital and the royal palace, which is an exact copy of India's Taj Mahal. Touya and the others are greeted by their king, who is half human and half tiger. He tells them that he will make the decision about the alliance soon and invites them to live in his castle until then. What a gentleman! Then he proceeds to challenge Touya to a single combat. What an animal! The two are to spar until one wins, but no attack magic is to be used. The king at first is instantly defeated because of a simple slip magic that makes him fumble, but the second time around he gives a tough fight to Touya. The king's null magic excel makes him very quick, giving him the upper hand, but Touya is soon able to copy this magic and beats the king in his own game. That night in the Miss Mide palace, Touya finds himself unable to sleep, so he roams the corridors of the palace and suddenly encounters a weird-looking teddy bear walking around the corridors as well. The teddy bear gestures to Touya to follow him and guides him to an empty room. There, Touya meets with a fairy queen, Lean, who in hopes to impress the dragon slayer shows him her power. The teddy bear from earlier was an inanimate object, but she used her magic to code it such that it looked alive. She also exhibits it on a chair. Touya is astounded and quickly does it himself, wondering what all he could do with this. This power was almost like modern-day coding. The fairy queen offers him to be her apprentice, but Touya runs away before she could offer anything else or worse, enchant him. Next day, Touya goes into a nearby forest with his friends Linza and Yumin. There he takes the dragon's teeth he had received from the villagers and asks Linza to slice it into 4 pieces. Then with the help of his modeling spell he creates a gun out of the pieces of dragon's teeth. With the help of the program spell that he had learnt yesterday, he programs the gun such that it can shift between a gun mode and a sword mode. Touya is generous enough to even gift his friends 1 gun each. Their adventure in Miss Mide finally comes to an end. After so many adventures, Touya decides that he is too mentally and physically strained to carry on, so they decide to take a few days rest. The rest of the days are wasted in a calm, playful way. One evening, however, he gets a visitor. It's the fairy queen Lean. She had come to give him some information about the regenerating monster they had battled ages ago. Apparently she and her party had battled with a similar creature a few days ago as well. She tells him that these creatures are called phrases, which were rumored to have almost destroyed the world ages ago. She tells him that to further investigate this matter they must head to Eashen and study the ruins there. She wants to leave now and get there as soon as possible. However, since Touya has never been to Eashen, he doesn't know how to use a gate to that place. Lean tells him about a spell called Recall, which could be used to study the memory of someone and then use that memory to create a gate. Since Ye was from Eashen, Touya uses the Recall on her to see the location of her village Oida, and they all head there. Ye's village is very similar to Japan from where Touya had arrived, and he can't seem to not see the similarities. Ye however notices that there is something off with the villagers. When the group reaches Ye's home, her mother notifies them that the neighboring Takeda clan had declared war on their village and her father and brother had been stuck fighting them for some time now. Only one final fort remained between the village and the army of Takeda. The group quickly rushes to aid the army and finds that they were being heavily outnumbered by the Takeda forces. The soldiers that had survived claimed that the soldiers of Takeda didn't die, even when they were killed, but when their masks were broken they stopped moving. Touya uses his smartphone to locate the whole army of Takeda who had surrounded them and proceeds to destroy all of their masks all at once. The Lord, however, believes that this won't be over until the perpetrator is killed or captured. They had heard rumors that the actual lord of the Takeda clan was dead and someone else named Kansuki was using the army. They couldn't find where the man was hiding and thus hadn't been able to stop the immortal army. Just then a spy from the Takeda clan, Tsubaki, arrives with a letter confirming their suspicions. All of Takeda's generals were kept captive while Kansuki used the army against them. She knew where the man was hiding and could lead them there. Touya and Lin decide to go there. They use the recall spell to locate the area and then the gate spell to get there. However, for some reason they are teleported outside the stronghold by the gate spell. Lin realizes that they must go there by themselves as there is a barrier protecting it from the use of the gate. She uses an invisibility spell on herself, Touya and Tsubaki, and the three quickly go and rescue Takeda clan's General Baba and other two generals as well. Touya tries using the gate again, hoping that now that they were inside the barrier wouldn't work, but unfortunately it still holds. So they go and destroy the charm that held the barrier together. Finally the gate works and they are taken directly to Kansuki. The man is witty enough and had been using the dead lord's body as his bodyguard. None of the generals can take up arms against their lord, so Touya simply shoots him. He was dead anyways, so the generals thankfully don't mind. Kansuki then makes a classic villain mistake and starts showing off his immortality jewel stuck in his eye. He boasts how he can never lose as long as he has that, and just like that Touya uses the transfer magic to swipe the jewel away from the man. They all decide that it's best to destroy the eye. The man is then captured and peace returns to Oida. Touya inquires about the ruins to General Baba, who tells him that he once went there but now the location must be underwater because of global warming or something. Touya is forced to use the recall spell on Baba, which was quite awkward to be honest, and then uses the gate to go to the destined location. The place is a beautiful beach, so the whole gang decides to take it easy for a while and enjoy the beach and the sea. Touya even uses the gate spell to bring the Duke, the King, and all his house workers so that they can enjoy the beach as well. As the others played volleyball and swam, Touya and Lin tried to get to the sunken ruins. Touya dived into the sea, but the ruins were too deep and he didn't have enough breath to get that low in the ocean. Kohaku suggests that he summon one of his acquaintances to help him. Usually a summoning spell cannot summon a particular person, but with Kohaku's energy Touya is able to summon the Sea Kings, General A Turtle, and a giant snake. They challenge Touya to a battle if he wishes to be their master. If he could survive battling them till sunset, he would be their master. Touya doesn't really have time for such shenanigans, and so he places a slip spell under them and then programs the ground to have a slip spell added in loop until he tells it to stop. It's not long before he wins and the two sign their contracts with him. They also shrink down to avoid being noticed by everyone. To be honest, they are quite cute. Touya names the turtle Sango and the snake Kokuyo. Now that he had the Sea Kings under his control, Touya was able to manipulate water. He could walk directly on the water floor and even breathe with ease. He walks to the location of the ruins and finds a magic seal. Upon releasing magic on the seal, Touya is transported away. Touya wakes up in a strange-looking garden and before him stood a strange-looking woman, who didn't wear anything under her waist. She tells him that her name is Francesca and she was the guardian of this place. Touya doesn't care, he just wants her to put on some pants. The girl insists on him to look or touch her, but Touya resists and asks her to just have some decency. The girl finally agrees and puts on a skirt and formally introduces the place as the Garden of Babylon, which was created 5092 years ago by her creator Regina Babylon. The girl is actually a humanoid robot kept to take care of the garden. She tells him that the professor was someone who could use all 6 elements and had created the seal for someone who could use all 6 elements like her. She had planned to hand over Francesca and the garden to that person, and now she was Touya's property. The whole ordeal is too much for Touya to handle. He didn't even want to come here. It was Lin's idea. He uses the gate spell to bring everyone to the garden. When they are all gathered together, Francesca tells them that there are many such floating Babylon islands all over the world created by her creator, each with their own guardian. She then declares Touya to be her master and husband and kisses him before everyone to take his DNA and register him as the lord of the island. The other girls are jealous. They can't stand that their lover is being kissed by someone else, and in that moment Linza takes a step of bravery and professes her love to Touya and kisses him as well. The incident clearly shocks Touya, who locks himself in his room. Yumin asks permission to enter and tells him that she is very angry that he let two women kiss him before her. After all, she was the one who was supposed to be married to her. She asks him to kiss her if he is to subdue the anger, and Touya does so. The girl was 12. Someone call the cops. Linza had heard all this as she had been hiding in the room with Lin's invisibility spell. She tells Touya that she wants to be his wife and has no problem if he has multiple wives as long as she is also one of them. Touya has no choice but to accept, and the two girls leave happily. Outside, however, his issues increase as Ye and Els too confess that they love him and want to be his wives. This man is suffering from success, but at this point he just can't believe if it's real or not, so to clear his mind and come up with a decision, he goes to the Garden of Babylon. There Francesca gives him a USB-C charger port, and as soon as he connects it to his phone he is called by Regina Babylon from 50 years in the past. She possessed a certain item that could let her see the future. Regina tells him that the phrase monster would soon arrive and destroy their world, but since she can still see him, the world must have survived somehow, which meant that Touya was somehow involved with the removal of the phrases. Touya is more concerned about his future and the wives situation, but she tells him that it wouldn't be fun if she gave him the answers and cuts the phone. Touya then goes to the one place he could get answers. He uses the gate spell to go to none other than God. That should not be possible, but I will not argue with the logic. God hears his situation closely and then calls in an expert, the goddess of love. She tells him that he is using logic from his old world. Of course he can have 4 wives, heck he could have an Apache helicopter as a wife as well if he wanted to. Touya returns determined after hearing the goddess and gives his answer to the 4 expectant women. He couldn't possibly marry them now, but he would marry all 4 of them eventually if they were all okay with it. The girls agree and without consulting further declare themselves the fiancés of Touya. Outside, Lin and Francesca peek at them as they bicker, and Francesca mentions that Regina had seen the future Touya to have at least 9 wives. Damn, my man is going to be living the dream, or nightmare. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.